Hi, my name is Carolia from the Yoga Lunchbox, and it is my great pleasure to again be speaking to Jase Patu, who is one of the co-owners of Power Living Wellington. Last time I spoke to Jase, he was about to teach at Wanderlust. He was living in Australia. There was the potential of a studio in New Zealand, and you were super excited, Jase. You were, I just remember you were like bouncing off the couch. There was so much going on. So welcome back, and how are you doing now? Like 2 years, it's been a big 2 years.
It's been a huge 2 years since I last spoke to you.
Yeah.
I look at that video, I look so young and fresh and vibrant and kind of like, yeah, excited about perhaps what the next, the future held in store for
Mm.
me. And just returning home, I remember one of the first things I said to you, I'm a proud Kiwi, and I don't need to say that anymore because I'm just home.
Yeah, it was a really big part of what was on your mind and in your heart at the time, wasn't it? Like what it meant to be Kiwi and to be Maori, you know?
Why?
Yeah.
And I it's so beautiful to just plant my feet in New Zealand soil and be and feel grounded, and that sense of belonging and that
Mm.
sense of coming home and just sharing. Really, I'm a lot more relaxed. I look at that video and I'm exhausted just looking at myself in a nice way. I mean, I love that
Yeah, yeah.
vibrance, effervescence I had, but I'm a lot more relaxed in what in Maori we call tau, like just settled. Like
Yeah.
I'm I can exhale and just say that I'm home and I'm
Mm.
really happy and relaxed about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I see the
Mm,
difference in you. Like there's a real sense of centeredness, groundedness that, is there now.
mm,
Now, I was at the opening of Power Living Wellington, which was last January, and one of the things I really loved about feeling the space and being there was the sense of a Māori taonga. Would I say that correct? Like, there's a sense of really bringing in the treasures of Māori culture, like of it being there, being part of it. And I haven't walked into a studio in New Zealand before where I've felt that. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and say it's a really beautiful thing to see that starting to come into yoga culture, which has tended to be quite Pākehā in New Zealand.
I fully understand that, and I think I mentioned to you last time in the interview around how what has really hit me and allowed me to open my heart to the teachings of yoga is the fact that so many of the teachings marry really well with the teachings I was brought up with
Mm,
in my Maori culture, brought up by my grandparents. Those really beautiful traditions of acknowledging our higher power, first of all, our higher power. Those really beautiful, the simplest way I can explain it is we have same methodologies, same philosophies, but
mm,
just different words because they're different languages. You know what I mean? Like rangi
yeah,
nui, patuanuku are akin to Shakti and Shiva, those female and male energies, and that separation between the two, like Papatuanuku and Rangi Nui, was separated. You know that our deities, how we have deities for the forest and for earthquakes. That's prevalent because I'm living in Wellington. And the sea and the wind and all that, much like the deities of Hindu and yogic culture and methodologies and philosophies. And
mm,
just, I suppose the most simplest way I can explain it is that uh, our Māori, when I see and when I think heart, when I think of that, and
yeah,
when I think of yoga and the teachings of yoga, is that really just calming the mind down and that perhaps traveling away from the thinking mind or overthinking, overjudging, critical mind to the limitlessness of the heart. And so, thank you for acknowledging that because I
mm,
really, Steen and I were super clear on how the two are similar and how we can interweave the two. So on our wall, you would have seen that we
yeah,
have Māori artwork and a whakatauki, e hoa ma ina te ora o te tangata, which means, and my friends, this is the essence of life. Right?
mm,
Finding the light that's within you and connecting to source, which is really what yoga is, right? So they
yeah,
cultures and methodologies just interweave beautifully. So
yeah.
kapai. you so much for acknowledging that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think it's a powerful thing, and it feels really important to me. Like, I'm a Kiwi, I grew up in New Zealand, this is my culture, and I feel like with the same thing with yoga, it's like the two come together. And I find when I teach, it's like, yeah, that real sense of the earth below and the sky above and how we are bridging them.
Absolutely.
And that's, like you said, that's the Maori myth. The story is the separation, and now it's the coming back together, and we are the ones who bridge.
We're the conduit. I often say that. I
Yeah.
remember feeling that in your class at Wonderlust, that ecstatic dance class that I was
Yeah.
just that. Oh, getting goosebumps talking about it, but that feeling of earth. I remember you had us being animalistic on the ground, but on our tippy toes, and full on goosebumps. But really, that we are the conduit between earth and sky, and we're the yoga connection.
Yeah, we're creating the union, bringing it back together.
And some people get so twisted about really what yoga is, and that's really it, man.
Yeah.
You nailed that in a dance move, and I love that.
Yeah, it was beautiful having you in that class as a performer, professional dancer as well. It was like, yeah, bringing it. Okay, we're digressing slightly. I think you and I could talk about this for a while. Now, when you opened the studio in January, and I know, like, opening a business is a massive thing, and I imagine that because it's a yoga studio, there's so much going on. How was it maintaining your own practice and your own health and your own well-being through that period?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It was straight up difficult. In that, at the end of the day, it was a new business, and it was a new business that I know came with just a lot of expectation, I suppose, not only from the mothership in Sydney, but also from the public and how they perceive powerlifting, a big entity in the yoga world, for one of the word commercial yoga world, if there's such a thing, but coming in and how that kind of integrated into the yogic landscape of the already existing yogic world. And that was really interesting. And so I put all of my energy into creating Justine and I, and then also my beautiful team, my little whānau that we've got working for us, the facilitators with us. Put all of my energy last year into that, like that. As with any other business, and anyone who owns a business knows, your whole energy is into creating the business, getting it started. So that was at the expense and the cost of my health, which I mentioned to you earlier. And then I find myself fast forward to the end of the year, and without story, but just realizing that on my list of priorities in my life, my health was at the bottom of the list. And my practice had come down to like 2 practices a week, if that, just because I suppose that priority had shifted. And I ended up at the end of the year being diagnosed with a stomach ulcer from a bacteria that I picked up that was exacerbated from a visit to Bali, one of our retreats, when I got Bali belly. And so already there was a deficiency in my immune systems, coupled with the stress of the business and working myself hard. Like, I'm that guy who throws 100% into everything I do, even if I'm 30, which I know that is something that most people can resonate with, especially Kiwis. But like I said, at the big expense of my health. And
I think a lot of yoga teachers and studio owners find this. So we're throwing ourselves into the creation of the business, into serving the community, into the teaching, and the thing that falls away is sometimes our own practice. I know. Yeah.
And we what humbles me is that one of my students said when she heard me share about it at the end of last year, I was just about to go on holiday. She's like, "That's so interesting, Jase, because you're so big at the beginning of classes of saying, take care of yourself, listen to your body, adjust and modify your practice according to how you show up on the day. nurture yourself with great breath, like all of those things. So there was a disconnect in what I was saying and then practicing myself. And as we all know as teachers, it's often our words that we don't listen to.
Yeah. Or it's the ones we need to hear the most, like the ones we're saying to other people. It's like our higher self is trying to get through to us.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we're so much of a vessel that it comes through but doesn't land with ourselves until someone has a mirror.
Yes.
My student that day and my acupuncturist, and I have all these warning signs throughout the year, and my my doctor friends saying, you're going to hit a wall, mate, and take rest. Even my partner diarising in our diary. We have a shared diary so we know our movements.
Mm-hmm.
Diarising, rest, put your computer down on my days off. And it took for that kind of zenith of me hitting a wall and that listening to my health for me to actually go, okay, pay attention now, mate. Love yourself and nurture yourself and do all the things that you so beautifully offer to your students. Mm-hmm. And now it's you to be a practitioner. And meditation has been awesome. My yin practice has been my go-to now, because in the past I'm just like foot to the floor, let's get in there and bust out a vinyasa class and get in your body. And that's how my whole life has been about it, being and feeling your body but pushing it to the nth degree.
Yeah.
And that word sustainability comes to me now, 1 year in and I'm already hit the wall. That's some signs to say, okay, buddy, calm your farm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's a sense sometimes that if it's not a full-on hard-out asana practice, that it doesn't count or it's not real? That if we're just showing up and doing yin for a practice or meditation, that it's not really yoga? Is that a part of it?
Oh my gosh! In this, I call it Instagram era of yoga. There's this sense that yoga should be an athletic endeavor.
Yeah.
And your words, that you don't do anything, you don't feel your muscles hurting, or there's a sense of achievement after practice, that nothing has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I would say is that in the opening of the business and my transformation last year of not getting onto my mat, actually within the busyness and the doingness of getting the business running last year, I was actually able to practice more yoga off the mat, more meditation. Yeah. Couldn't get to my mat, more awareness and consciousness around my daily actions, even though it still led me to where I got. I actually feel that if I wasn't as mindful and wasn't practicing yoga off the mat, that some quite extreme, worse health conditions could have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's interesting that when you said you're only, practicing twice a week maybe, that you weren't including your off the mat stuff as practice.
Aha.
You see, because when I speak of a yoga practice, for me it's anytime you're meditating, anytime you're doing pranayama, anytime you're doing asana, anytime you're literally really conscious of witnessing yourself in action and then noticing what patterns are coming up. Like it's everything.
Yeah, I see. I've because I've been so physical in my life, I can work that out intellectually, but there's always, to be honest, been a disconnect because I've for many years associated, which is why I will say I loved vinyasa because it allowed me to get into my body quite quick. And past dancer and aerobics instructor, my whole life has been about. And so, yeah, you're so right. And I have to say, and this is a big admission, that last year, I call it integration now, in terms of I'm fully noticing and hearing what you just said around that. Yes, mate, your meditation is yoga, and your off the mat yoga is actually more potent and powerful And that in that now I can sit with what happened to me in a health wise. I must admit, first of all, there was some judgment, but now actually how that to sit with it first, be in that space, which we in our lives just want to get away from very quickly. And I'm moving through that, and as a what's the word? As a result of, I'm coming more into a softer and enjoying softer, because to me, physical equals strong and power, and I'm enjoying being in the softer state and even vulnerable.
Yeah,
and being okay, that's actually an understanding. Justine and I spoke about that's actually where I feel my power is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I feel a big shift in you in the last 2 years, like between that interview and this interview, because I watched a little before this. Yeah, it's beautiful, like you sharing your journey and being upfront, because like you said, there can be fear of judgment sometimes. Here I am running a studio. I'm meant to be doing A, B, and C, and I haven't done it. And so to be able to stand in that and say, yeah, this is what happened, this is where I was. It's a beautiful thing to hear. And then to hear how you sat with it. You sat with what was coming up for you, because that's the yoga, right? That's where we want to take students really into that space. So,
oh my gosh. And it's been a revelation for me in my teaching in terms of, I don't know, I suppose the way I can sum it up is that people have known me as Warrior Jase, for that moniker. But how I see that now is about being a warrior of light, not a warrior in terms of the physicality of that. There's a sense of it actually not being a physical presence for me like it may have been in the past, but it's more of a felt and imbued, embodied, integrated version of what a warrior is.
Yeah.
So of light, so it's from the inside, not the other way around.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Now you're about to go into a Power Living teacher training program, New Zealand teacher training program that starts in May, which you will be co-facilitating with. Keenan's there, and Duncan is there, and Justine is there, and Lizzie as well.
Lizzie, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm interested, like, because you've facilitated some teacher trainings before. How do you think this shift in you is going to impact your facilitation of the teacher training?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful question to ask, because I feel I'm developing and actually deepening into what I feel is possible. I actually feel like I'm only scratching the surface into what I feel is possible in terms of the depth and level I can connect with my teaching now, really.
Yeah.
Good question. I feel there'll be a deeper level of connect. That's usually a thing that I have never had a problem with, but now it'll be just like a softer me, I know for sure, but powerful in a different way. I'm still sitting with that and working with how that works, because I still have go-tos and these patterns of,
yeah,
I get the best out of you, and this is how I've done it in the past, and how does that look and how does that feel? I just feel just a different level of depth that comes. Another layer of you peels away, and a deeper layer of trauma and hurt is released. That can only mean a lighter, brighter version of you to be able to facilitate from, and a level of depth where you can come with a wisdom of felt experience that you've put into place or practice these yogic tools to allow you to move through the yucky, not so comfortable times. So that as you're asking that of people, not only in a yoga class, but in their yoga teacher training, to get uncomfortable and be okay with it, I feel you can hold space better because you've been able to do it yourself.
Yeah, so true. The more uncomfortable you can get, the more you can hold. So what do you think is the strength of the power living yoga teacher training? Because they've been running it in New Zealand for a number of years now. Like there's a real deep foundation with those trainings. What do you see as the strength of them?
In one word, holistic. I think I said that the last time, but I stick to my guns when I say I put two hands on my heart and say that this training is integrated. It's four facets of the asana for sure, like teaching people how to do things.
Mm-hmm.
So they have an embodied experience of it in their bodies. I'm talking about the participants on the teacher training, so that they can speak about it from that point of view. Anatomy and philosophy, those two go hand in hand. So you get not only what the body is doing and what moves what muscles do what bones move where.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that science of the yoga practice, but you also have the beautiful traditions. And the philosophy for me is my favorite part to teach. It's what Keenan's beautifully our power live kind of, I don't want to use the word guru, but like master of.
Yeah, he brings that bhakti path quite strongly, doesn't he?
I love that devotional and love aspect to the practice, and it comes through in his teaching, which I feel like I'm heading down and interested now as my heart is opening and my soul is healing. I suppose I'm more interested in that and how that looks and how I can teach from that space. So yeah, you get the traditions and then there's the focus on the practical teaching as well. So we actually give people this information. So we say, hey, here's a sequence. Here's how the bodies should warm up with sun salutations, etc., and how it should eventually calm down at the end with the hip sequence. Put it into a sequence we teach everyone. But then we give them the opportunity from day 2 of teacher training to actually teach each other. So they're getting an engagement with what it's like to teach students in front. I know some teacher trainings, they just give you all the information, the what, and then maybe even the why and the how, but don't give you the opportunity to practice teaching in people's bodies. There's that, and then there's the self-study work. It's the stuff that we actually, I feel, is the gold of this practice, where we allow people to really discover and see and notice your words before, patterns, and the things that maybe don't serve them, that we've got so good at, these behavioral patterns in our lives that have helped us cope with our lives up until now, that maybe are causing suffering for us and others around. That self-study work we focus on a lot without giving away on retreat. And beautifully, Duncan and Keenan will be leading that portion of the training this time around. And I feel that's, like I said, the gold of the teacher training. So you don't just get a sequence, you don't learn philosophy, you don't just learn the traditional or the anatomy as well. You actually do some of your self-work. So that allows you to start living into your power, so you can step up in front of class come the end of your teacher training and start from a place of discovering where your power is and teach from that space, from an authentic, real place, right from the beginning. And not from sorry, you go.
Because there's three modules on the training, right? And one of those modules, you take everyone to Bali. It's part of the cost. It's included, right? Not the flights, but the accommodation and tuition and everything. And you immerse for a week. And so they're learning all of this, but they're also in that pressure cooker of being on retreat, where it's yoga from morning to dusk. Dusk to dawn. Yeah, I know. I came. I've done it. I know. And it is a pressure cooker, right? So whatever patterns you've got, whatever triggers you, whatever stuff you've been hiding from, whatever shadow, it might come up. Hopefully. You actually want it to come up, don't you?
Absolutely. And it's a really big, beautiful part of our training, I feel, in that people oftentimes haven't considered the idea or been sparked an inquiry around, hey, what is it that you believe about yourself? And how it's ruling and running your life? Where did it come from? You don't want to get rid of it. It gave you some amazing gifts. But when is it out of context, and when and how can you, not keep a lid on it, but when and how is it going to cause suffering to you and others?
Mm-hmm.
Can we begin to balance that so it's not you feeling like you're out of your head or losing your shit sometimes out of context, which used to be my go-to, and what I must say, in a really safe and contained environment where the facilitators have been trained to be able to lead that style of because it's big.
Yeah, it is big.
There's some huge revelations for people, but that's where I say it one more time, that's where the transformation is. So often people come on to teacher training with us and they think, oh my God, I'm just going to learn some yoga and I'm going to learn how to teach a handstand and splits and I'll be good. But all the time, every single time, people are going to come out of it going, oh my gosh, I so did not realize I was going to immerse from this 3 months a brighter, lighter version of myself.
Yeah.
And that's yoga, man.
Yeah, that is yoga. That's it, exactly. It is dissolving the layers of the ego. They're not self.
Uh-huh.
Whether you want to or not.
Even if you're right.
Or
even that
doesn't matter.
Some people don't even consider that. It's never even considered that it is ego, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just I am.
That's who I am.
I'm moody on a Friday. That's just who I am. It's just how I am.
Yeah.
So it's just, well, how's that going?
Okay. All right. To finish off, I have one more question I want to ask. I think this is a good one. I noticed on your on the page that outlines the teacher training program, one of the things that you teach is the 7 traits of a power living teacher. Yeah. And I want to know. I don't know if you know them off by heart.
You'll have to remind me.
I don't know. I didn't write them down. It just said the 7 traits of a power living teacher. Just make them up if you don't know them off by heart. But I was curious. I'm like, what does define a power living yoga teacher?
What I know for sure is that what I just said before about allowing someone to live into their power. Step into their power. And that's going to be different for every single one of us, whatever that means for you. And for me now, right now, in this point in my life, that's me living into my vulnerability. That because in the past I've told myself that that's weak and weak's not good. What I embrace fully now is that there's such beauty in being able to open your heart and speak from in a really authentic place. There's authenticity. And so power to me means authentic. It means real. It means getting up and stepping up to teach from this place where you're okay to be messy. You're okay to be human, and you're showing people and just sharing from this open-hearted space. That's living in your power living, and to teach from that powerful space. I feel like those 7 traits, which you remind me, I must remember off by heart for future. I can say that it's summed up in that. Yeah,
that's beautiful. Jase, thank you so much for being here, for speaking to us, and for all that you're bringing to the New Zealand yoga community and the community at large. Really appreciate your work.
Sure, Cara. I echo that back to you, my darling. You're doing I love seeing what you're doing in our community and the way that you are speaking from a really authentic place. And it's different to me, it's different to Justine, it's different to all the wahine in New Zealand. I was so proud that you were part of Wanderlust because Wanderlust to me is this real beautiful opportunity for Kiwis to be able to represent what yoga means to us here. And I really feel that our Kiwi teachers bring a level of depth, mostly because we're connected down here and less connected to the hustle bustle of bigger places or countries where there's more people. I'm just more in touch with that, to be honest.